What's really stopping you from living as a magnetic, passionate, high voltage woman? In this video, I'll share the real reason why most women don't reach their full potential and how embracing your discomfort, pain, and wounds is actually the key to your transformation and full empowerment. Welcome to the Venusian Academy. My name is Silvana and I help women transform their wounds into power with my method, Venusian Tantra. So let's start by addressing the elephant in the room. Spirituality can sometimes become an avoidance mechanism. This is an escape trap. Many women go into spirituality or use spirituality thinking that it's a way that is going to help them escape their pain, their discomfort, and their wounds by believing that they can either transcend it, rise above it, and if that they do that, they will finally be free. At least that was my reason for getting into spirituality, was to finally let go of the discomfort and the pain that I was carrying for most of my life. But your discomfort, your pain, and your wounds, they are not obstacles to your power. They are raw energy waiting to be witnessed and transformed into power. I think reflecting on what ways do we use spirituality to escape the pain is a very powerful exercise to do. And maybe you're hearing this and you're thinking, well, I don't really do that because I'm aware. When you said it, I can see it, but I'm gonna give you a few examples of like my personal life, and then you see if it pulls on something. So I started learning tarot and astrology when I was like 16 years old, and as I grew into it, I realized I've had these seasons where I was obsessively just doing tarot readings and looking at the astrology in order to find a way out of what I was feeling. And in that, what I was doing was avoiding some of the spiritual work that I had to do. And my spiritual work was literally just to see what I was feeling, to feel my feelings, and to witness them with loving awareness, because that is the process of healing. And I didn't realize this until a few years ago. that I was spiritualizing my avoidance mechanisms. And I'm like, well, I'm not smoking, I'm not drinking, I'm here with this stuff and I'm finding wisdom and getting clarity with this. But in reality, it was a form of avoidance. So I think a good exercise for you will be to observe what parts of my life am I spiritualizing in order to get out of the discomfort that I'm feeling. It's very easy to get your wires crossed between a tool that helps us process something versus whenever the tool becomes the avoidance mechanism. And I think it has to do with usage and almost like a percentage of how much am I using this, how much am I just simply feeling the thing that I need to feel, accepting that there's no escaping this, and I'm just gonna be with this until I can alchemize it and transform it into power. So I invite you in the next week to observe how am I avoiding some of the discomfort that I'm feeling, because that's gonna give you a lot of material to discover what are areas in your life where you have hidden power ready to be untapped. Now, if spirituality becomes the escape, then the real spiritual path is the embodied experience. It's your physical experience. It's right here in your body. I remember when I started taking clients, I had this one client and all she wanted to do was meditate and listen to healing sound frequencies and just completely like leave the body. It was this deep rejection with the body, and this was one of like my first failures as a coach, because I'm like, I don't know how to get her to like to do this. I cannot do it for her. But it didn't matter how many times I said it. It was always like a way of out of the body, disassociating. And because it is seen as spiritual, eventually they're like, well, this is gonna give me results. But what I've discovered in the recent years, especially in the creation of Venusian Tantra, of my healing method, is that the embodied experience of a woman is the groundwork for spiritual work. Your physical embodiment as a woman is not a distraction from your spiritual journey. It is the spiritual journey. Being embodied as a woman is the spiritual journey. It's not what happens whenever I dissolve this or whenever I avoid it. It's what happens when I'm here in the body, in this physical experience. When you embrace your body, your emotions, your pain, you unlock the voltage that electrifies every aspect of your life. You unlock the voltage of this raw emotion. And your body becomes the vehicle for this process to actually happen. The high voltage woman is the woman that is not afraid of her wounds because she knows they are a source of power that is needed to build her life, to create her dream reality. She transformed these wounds into power, pleasure, presence, and leadership. She knows her energy, her light, and also her wounds are not a burden. And she also knows that her sexuality is not a source of shame. It's a source of creativity. The high voltage woman changes her life and the entire world by embracing her full spectrum. The revolution is here. The time is now. When I say the time is now, I'm talking as a witch, as an astrologer, as a friend, as a woman, as an activist, as all the things. I think it's important. The reason why I love astrology is because it kind of gives us it's like the science of patterns in time. We get to see patterns in the world. And right now, very interesting things are happening astrologically. We have, just this week we had, a few weeks ago when you see the video, we had Saturn moving to Aries along with Neptune. We haven't seen this in like over 100 and something years. Pluto is now in Aquarius, hasn't been seen since like 163 years. There is all of these changes and shifts happening. We have the birth of AI, which is supposed to be, the new wave of the internet, which is going to change our life and our world. So right now is the time in which you need to take your own spiritual path seriously, because this is beyond us. Even though transforming our wounds into power is gonna make us feel magnetic and confident, whenever a woman feels magnetic and confident and full of love for herself, she has enough to give others. You will see how the world's gonna get really confused and really chaotic. And now more than ever, we need women that are embodied and grounded in leadership. Women that know that the spiritual power that they have is a pillar for them. And it doesn't matter what happens in the world. It doesn't matter what happens politically. It doesn't really matter, because the true pillar and the true foundation is found within. Whenever you take responsibility for your spiritual path, for your life, and you use your emotions and you use all of your wounds not as a crutch to continue staying in victimhood and feeding all stories, but as a source of power, you are going to be building the new reality. From quantum type of spirituality and going a little bit into the Lulu land, we can even have like a timeline shift where there might be the timeline where people step into this empowerment, more victimhood. They live in the reality of the tyrants. And then there is the timeline where doesn't matter what happens outside, nothing will have power over me, because I have reclaimed this inner power. I am embodied. And becoming a high voltage woman will become a synonym for becoming an empowered woman. So the time to do this work is now. As fun as it is to dive into the world spirituality and getting lost in the cosmos, we need to bring it down into the body, because the revolution happens right here in the body. As we speak, there are women that are losing their rights by the day. There are women that are still subjugated. There are women that have lost their right to speech, to educate themselves, to be independent, to choose for themselves. Like, all of this is happening right now. And I don't know about you, but this really angers me. And anger is a very powerful emotion. And I've decided to turn my anger into this work, into my programs, into my methodology. And it requires a lot of work. And I'm soloing this. I don't have any business partner or a team or anybody, but I'm using all of that to build this because I feel in my heart this is a necessity. I feel in my heart that the time is now and we need to work together on building a new world. And there's a wisdom that flows through all of us. And if we listen to it, if we listen to this intuition and we follow our heart, we'll realize how our hearts already have the blueprint for the solution. But if we do not follow our heart, then we're stuck living some men's fantasy of what the world should live like. So it is time to take your power back. Become a high voltage woman. Embrace who you are. Embrace your wounds as much as you want to embrace your life. And become an example for others around you. Live by example. Live from your heart and notice how people around you will start being more inspired to also live in their heart. When you stop running from your pain and you use it as fuel, you become unstoppable. So, if you're ready to step into your high voltage feminine power, then join me in my next workshop, which is free and is called Activate Your Power Archetype. I always have to read it because I've had 4 versions of the name as I was creating it. So I have it written down so I say the right name. But this workshop is going to be amazing because I'm going to teach you how to find your own unique archetype based on your birth chart and how to activate it. And then you take it from there, because once you have engaged with this energy, you're gonna see how it teaches you. It's like it becomes your own guide and your own teacher, so that you can turn your wounds into power. So I really hope to see you there. Let me know below if you're going to attend, and you can find the link to attend in the description box below. Remember, the time is now, so it's time to start your transformation. I'll see you next time.